My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state.
Securitas is gang stalking again with the city of Ontario, engaging in terrorism. They're not security. They're coming out of the office and they're using that as a means of gang stalking with the people of the state. She's getting in her vehicle right here, stalking in the path, acting in sync. This is the P.O.C. They're going to federal prison, so this is the reward. These demons that are engaged wearing the Securitas uniforms are on the internet. I'm going to prosecute the company. I'm going to prosecute their employees. They're gang stalking via downtown Ontario luxury apartments. They're gang stalking via the Ovid Family Community Library and the Ontario Town Square. They're coming in and out of this office right here, and then that vehicle is pulling off. But there is the short Asian male that's engaging in kidnapping. You have Dylan of the Ovid Family Community Library. You have the African American female of the Ovid Family Community Library, both of them gang stalked with Ontario police. You have the, I've documented the female in the orange vehicle gang stalking by employment with the downtown Ontario luxury apartments. That's heavily engaged in gang stalking, by the way. And also you have the white male in the red vehicle. These are gang members. Securitas is not a security company. And they're engaging in what is targeting, and Securitas is targeting me while I document them, and that's relevant to civil and criminal prosecution. This is the P.O.C. That demon drives right into the downtown Ontario luxury apartments parking garage. All right, these are the employees that are aiding in what is psychological torture, ongoing harassment, sexual violence. They're driving in and out of that same parking garage, gang stalking, and they're just wearing security uniforms as though they're employed, and it's not distinct. It's the same pattern of conduct. You're going to prosecute these companies. The entity is stalking by airport, in sync with Securitas, pacing in and out of their workspace right here. This is the employment, the basis of what is federal prison, because they're systematically monitoring. This is 5:18 a.m. P.O.C. And this is relevant, by the way, to exactly what you see the employee doing yesterday morning, engaging in criminal summoning with the city of Ontario. While he's pulling up, I just want to be clear, all they are doing is providing cases against each other while they share in the pattern of conduct. I'm already capturing it and prosecuting while I document, while I get your co-workers who are co-defendants, and the entity, the people of the state, who are co-defendants, and this agency acting with everyone else, the people of the state, who are all co-defendants. You are going to federal prison, just like it is when I'm capturing you gang stalking. This is the entity that's providing evidence against itself and each other. This is the airport that maintains no flights over the downtown Ontario Town Square and over the El Bacone. Okay, when the demons are inside of this venue, gang stalking. P.O.C. It is currently 5:19 a.m. Pay attention in this video where you see the pedestrians, you see the footwork. These are demons that are stalking at 5:19 in the morning, engaging in the pacing conduct. They're doing so unknown. This is not traffic, it's surveillance. They're stalking in the path. These are demons that are making sure they maintain presence all around me. And that's the fake moon where Securitas is a gang stalker in the city of Ontario, is keeping me under surveillance, as I've already shown, while I'm sleeping, anywhere that I'm sleeping where there is no privacy. This is already known. This is evidence establishing it, because it's going to be the basis of prosecuting this entity that's conspired my murder, that thinks that they can purchase people and kill them for profit. This is why Tracy Banks is going to prison. She thinks that she can sell people, and an entity that's gang stalking thinks that they could purchase people and then openly stalk them. These people are going to prison. They're psychotic. These are demons. They've purchased their own sacrifice. That's what's happening. They're being sacrificed, and it's public information. It's all over the news. It's all over the internet. P.O.C. This is the door that Securitas is accessing while crossing path and targeting me with the Ontario International Airport. And this is the Ontario Town Square that is full of the people of the state that are gang stalking. And this is the P.O.C. And that demon comes right to the black vehicle and drives right into the Ontario Town Square, the downtown Ontario luxury apartments. And this is the demon that's surrounding. So we'll go ahead and get this co-conspirator's license plate. Okay, we'll get the co-defendant. License 5 Victor Charlie Nancy 548 is gang stalking and furtherance of murder with Securitas, with the demons that are pacing around, with the city of Ontario stalking by plane, and doing so with the Metro 102 apartments, very heavily documented. P.O.C. Like I stated, in the specific environment. Here's my shadow here, and here's my shadow upright on the vehicle. Okay, Securitas is gang stalking. You're not an employee of any engaging in any constitutionally protected conduct. You are engaging in surveillance, and it's a matter of public corruption. I'm going to prosecute that company for sharing in what the government surmises it can engage in, purchasing people and then gang stalking them for profit, to get away with stealing my money, my identity, and you're going to defame and kidnap me in order to do so. This is exactly why Paul Leon's going to prison. This demon thinks that we're still back in the 1800s, where you're enslaving somebody and you're purchasing me. I don't think so. I do not think so. I'm going to prosecute you. You're going to prison for that. P.O.C. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. The entity is stalking at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, maintaining alignment with me on this sidewalk, parking on what is Emporia. That's the cul-de-sac at the end of the museum. And these are demons that are also pacing on and off of this is Plum. This is the entity that it's 5 o'clock in the morning. They're maintaining ongoing relevant positioning and light activity, and these are conspirators of murder. This is why the government purchases you, and then the people of the state gang stalk you, and they're going to prison. They're going to prison, and this is the entity. I want you to pay attention to this light activity right here behind that stop sign. They're stalking in the path. Very precise with my location, keeping me under surveillance. And this is what is putting Mike LORENZ in prison, disbanding that agency. They're not a police department. They go about enforcing the purchase that they've made. Tracy Banks is going to prison. She's psychotic, okay? Going around selling her relatives. She's out of her mind, and you're all going to witness her suffering the consequences for it. A Metro 102 is gangs while I'm on the sidewalk in front of the venue, and these demons are maintaining ongoing surveillance. This is psychopathic pacing while the fake moon remains over, okay? So as I'm walking about, the entity is maintaining the specific environment over me. While I'm at the Ontario Town Square, it's remaining over. While I'm walking around, the shadows remaining on both sides of my person, and the entity is engaging in what is a pattern of conduct, speaking to surveillance that you're subject to when you have that level of stalking, and they're on the opposite side at the museum over there. Okay, that's letting you know that your genitalia is under surveillance as well. Alrighty, right here, like I said, moving as I move. It's now over this is the Metro 102 apartments. I'm stepping back so you can see. Those are demons that are stalking at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, and that's also why the people of the state are going to be federally prosecuted regardless of the hours of the operation of a venue where the entities engage in that. The entities engage in this while they are stalking in the path. They're flying back here over me at the El Bacone and over the Ovid Family Community Library. The fake moon moves, and so does where the entity is stalking by planes. And this is the entity that committed what is a purchase of a person. And then you have the commercial airline companies that are stalking in the city of Ontario that's maintaining surveillance with the fire department, the police department. This is the entity that's engaged in that at the Ontario City Council. I just want to be clear, they're going to prison. All right, the entities engaging in this conduct with the people of the state who are engaging in surveillance at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the entity is flying that venue, they're sharing in surveillance via communication devices, while the entity is keeping items like a fake sun and a fake moon, where these demons routinely engage in purchasing people, targeting people, murdering them, sacrificing them up to Satan. These are the demon possessed. That's what's maintaining these commercial airline companies. That's what's maintaining the Ontario City Council, the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department. They're the demon possessed. The people of the state, gang stalking as a population, they are the demon possessed, and they're being federally prosecuted. And you are being informed about the reality of the beast system, and you're witnessing the demon possessed who have sacrificed themselves. This is the federal of the commercial airline companies. It's a federal RICO case. It's establishing the basis to prosecute any and every company that's engaged in surveillance in California. This is public corruption amongst demons that are stalking on the roads and the highways under Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2, including standing at the bus stop where the pattern of conduct is underway. These are demons. It's 24-hour surveillance in furtherance of murder, which is a prosecution of the U.S. government. This is P.O.C. This is Plum and Hope Boulevard. P.O.C. All right, the entity advancing south. Now I'm at the BNG Plaza, stalking. I've captured this for years under the fake sun. This is at the Andy's Burgers. This is the entity that is clearly stalking, doing so with the people. They're along what is transit, stalking in the path, P.O.C. And this is stalking along Euclid Avenue, P.O.C. Stalking along Hope Boulevard. And this is why their license plates and their addresses are all over the internet. They're being federally prosecuted as a people sharing in that pattern of conduct. Okay, and remember, this is also facilitated under the guise of construction. Griffith Company blocking the roads. The demon is going around off of Plum to go behind on Emporia. It has nothing to do with this rerouting of the roads. They're stalking in the path in alignment with my person in the previous video while they are tracking my steps and stalking as a population. And these are demons. These are all demons. Okay, these are P.O.C. This is P.O.C. That's the entity that is stalking. I just want to be clear, that's not a takeoff from the airport. And it's advancing south beyond the town square, beyond the Ovid Library, the city hall, because of where I'm located. This is literally stalking that I've shown you. I've already shown. I made a display of it yesterday on X, showing you the flights, showing you what the entity versus what the entity is doing where I'm located, where no flights are hovering. You see where they're at. They are flying And what is the direction north to be over the Ontario City Hall? Okay, this is the entity that's just stalking, period. And then west of this location is the Stater Brothers. So they're lowering down an elevation again and then reinitiating a takeoff. This is the entity that is stalking, very highly unintelligent. These are demons that purchase people. Okay, and those people who are purchased and ultimately murdered by these people, the people of the state that are stalking them, they don't typically survive and document this part. So this is the entity that's being federally prosecuted. They are the mentally ill. It is a population of them. This is the Nephilim maintaining the beast system, which is also how the government is maintaining criminal surveillance. P.O.C. It is currently 5:36 a.m. He's engaged in surveillance with the City of Ontario. Here are all my shadows. He's gang stalking with the demon coming from behind. License 70638 Apple 3. Stalking together. I'm going to get his license plate. He represents a company. License plate. And they're all stalking together. They all come behind here. License 16466 Thomas 1. These are co-conspirators of murder. These are demons. License plate 9LXY544. And this is a company that's a co-conspirator of murder. And the employee is engaging in share. Coming out and maintaining any inventory, anything he looks like Hulk Hogan. He's going to be federally prosecuted. He's conspiring murder, engaging in surveillance with the City of Ontario and the people of the state in the City of Ontario. 36405J4. This is P.O.C. Light. The entity is keeping the fake moon over me. He is engaged in that pattern of conduct where the entity is stalking with that population and does so under the guise of a company. California 529, he's engaged in federal stalking on a communication device. And he's conspiring my murder pursuant to a purchase that this entity made regarding being able to successfully get away with, for a price, murdering me and kidnapping me in order to do so. North Star is a gang stalker. All right, this is people in the state are monitoring. And they're stalking me while you're looking at this light activity. It's impossible light activity that's occurring in the dark. This is a demon, and this is a corrupt company, and that's a RICO case. All right, so dark. There's the ice rink isn't open. Andy's Burgers isn't open. This is an entity that's engaging what is stalking with light, demons, sharing in surveillance in this demonic environment. And you're going to prosecute criminally, and then you're going to prosecute civilly. That's impossible light while a demon. Psychopathic pacing, maintaining that surveillance. P.O.C. P.O.C. He's surveilling while the entity is flying, doing cartwheels by commercial plane, while flying over the B&G Plaza. He's right here monitoring while the demons are maintaining a means of psychopathic pacing. P.O.C. Andy's Burgers is monitoring. You already know that. FSM Food Service is gang stalking. This is Omnitrend engaging in surveillance 1410070. The same exact criminal pattern of conduct. Businesses engaging in that pattern of conduct and doing so on what is it's 5:40 a.m. This is P.O.C. It's light activity relevant positioning in the specific environment under the fake moon with the people of the state engaging in psychopathic pacing while the airport is targeting and this location. And you already know that Omnitrend is a gang stalker. They're also a sex offender. License 5UWF373 and the number 487. Omnitrend is a heavily documented terrorist. They are a state actor, Alan D. WAPNER, associated with this corrupt transportation line as well. That's Impossible Light along the wall over there. This is somebody that's monitoring. This is P.O.C. And this is a co-conspirator of murder. Okay, going under the title of Transit Supervisor, a co-conspirator of murder, a violent sex offender, and I'm going to prosecute Omnitrans and the demons engaging in this pattern of conduct with the people of the state. This is P.O.C. It is currently 5:41 a.m. Alrighty, this is the sex offender that is the city of Fontana. So you need to know that Aquanetta Warren is a vagina monitor. This is a closeted homosexual, a predator, engaging in what is sexual violence of a homosexual nature, keeping my vagina under surveillance through the city of Fontana and Vactor. They're doing so while they're maintaining light activity. They're vagina monitoring what's going on inside of the bathroom of the Carl's Jr., where I've already captured the fake sun. Remember when I'm here in the morning and the fake sun is over me at this same intersection, Sierra and Merrill? And I'm also here in the afternoon, in the evening, 4 or 5 o'clock, and the fake sun is over me. I literally capture it over here. This is the entity that's engaged in psychopathic pacing, and this is a population that are all together sharing in sexual violence. This is what the entity does when they purchase you. This is what they thought. This is what they do to other people. They've done it to me, and I'm the one exposing and prosecuting. The city of Fontana that's stalking by the Fontana police in helicopter are violent sex offenders who are vagina monitors that wear bright orange vests and use utility vehicles, maintaining light activity and presence in the path. They're engaging in the sex offense inside of the Carl's Jr., and I did document the sex offenders in the drive-thru. I documented the sex offenders in the parking lot. I documented the sex offenders inside of the venue, and they're maintaining what is surveillance, okay? And this is the P.O.C. Vector is a vagina monitor documented with the city of Ontario. You already know what they are. They're engaging in light activity, and this is facilitation, a bunch of sex offenders, some of whom I will capture right now. This is P.O.C., the perpetual sex offense in furtherance of murder. 8WQL294, the beast system includes what is surveillance of your genitalia. This is what the government is engaging in while they are stalking you obsessively. So, and they are sex offenders that give birth to children. They maintain access as guardians and so-called parents while they're engaging simultaneously in a psychopathic, that is a mentally ill criminal conduct surveillance of a demonic nature. Okay, and this is speaking to that public corruption which is underway in Fontana. 7YOZ136 and license 8LLG386. This is at the intersection and Sierra. This is monitoring, the perpetual sex offense bathroom monitoring, P.O.C. It is currently 8:26 a.m. This is the fake sun, right? See. Here is Amazon stalking. This is a demon. Gang stalk highways with Fontana, 11746 Charlie 4. This is the fake sun where Fontana police are stalking by helicopter. I'm walking down this street, and this is the city of Fontana gang stalking with third-party Amazon Prime. Bezos is going to be prosecuted. He's a terrorist leader. These are demons that are riding around in commercial vehicles and stalking me in the commercial planes. And this is terror. This is psychological torture while a logo is engaging in the pattern of conduct. The company is engaging in the pattern of conduct, and that's a federal RICO case. They're all sharing in the pattern of conduct together. This is psychopathic pacing. That's P.O.C. And when they do that, plus helicopter activity, those same demons are going to prison. P.O.C. It is currently 8:36 a.m. under the fake sun at Valencia and Sierra Avenue, and there is a wealth of history. This fake sun setting on this side of the street at the same intersection. I'm going to prosecute Amazon Prime. This is P.O.C. P.O.C. These are demons that are coming from Ontario, gang stalking. License 9GCY064 8VQX274. This is the fake son, and so the entity is going to be subject to commitment. This is Rosa, her son, that is gang stalking as though he is at dis-ease because he has come across me. Oh, as though, in fact, I'm stalking him. That's what that would be suggesting. This is the demon that's gang stalking inside of the Ovid Family Community Library, doing so under the fake sun with the Fontana Police Department, just like he is at Ontario Village Shopping Center with the Ontario Police Department. This is the one that smells of urine, that's gang stalking with his mother and his younger siblings, and he's gang stalking. You'll see in the images as well. He's sitting there staring down at his phone. These are demons that are monitoring. License FP189762. That's Illinois. Engaging that pattern of conduct. This is this demon over here. Oh, like he doesn't know. Oh man, I'm following him around. This is the end. They're going to be committed with this evidence. All right, that's the P.O.C. It is currently, by the way, 8:39 a.m. Remember, I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library capturing video at 8:35 in the morning. The Ovid Family Community Library, where this demon that's gang stalking in Fontana, California, is engaging in that pattern of conduct at the Ovid Family Community Library. This is going from city to city. Again, obsession with my vagina, obsession with gang stalking me. And then the outward and unpersuasive behavior as though, oh my goodness, there she is again, as though I am stalking him. This is the entity that, these are the demon possessed, these are the mentally ill. They're going to be committed with it. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:40 a.m. Regarding the terrorist leader, the current one, the demons as they are identified while they engage in the pattern of conduct, you learn all who Satan owns and Satan's operations that are underway. This is funding of terrorism while the municipality is engaging in what is that gang violence, AGS security, and what is Fontana, city of Fontana gang stalking, including up Sierra, monitoring my vagina inside of the Carl's Jr., using the utility vehicles. This is the city that's engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, stalking in the path, surveillance, conspicuous surveillance, and it's all in furtherance of murder and concert with
with the people of the state. All right, and this is the mentally ill behavior where the entity has the fake sun in the morning and in the evening as I walk out, like I documented on, that was Saturday. The entity is maintaining this environment while the Fontana police are stalking by helicopter, all manner of all the hallmarks as I've shown. And this is the entity that's engaged in that. This is that public corruption. And this is the removal of terrorist leaders that include Warren, okay, Bonquisha, whatever her name is, while she's engaging in what is leading in and facilitating funding terrorism. That's what the money is going toward. That's what the use of the resources of the city are going toward, which is criminal conduct. Wearing a hard hat, pulling out spray paint, a spray bottle, using a vehicle and pulling out a ladder and cutting down trees is nothing other than activity creation while they're engaging in surveillance. Okay, this is getting down to the this corrupt system, and the entities engaging at license 1293195, City of Fontana, 1660209, City of Fontana, and they're doing so with the entity that is gang stalking, like Vactor is at Merrill and Sierra Avenue, while they are stalking in the path with light at that intersection. The entity is keeping the fake sun over me at the Ovid Family Community Library, as I documented in the morning, juxtaposing that with this very location where you are already aware of the fake sun from morning until evening. This is where the entity is engaging what is stalking with light, mentally ill behavior. This is the people of the state engaging in just over conspicuous surveillance, blatant stalking. All right, this is the corruption of the city of Fontana. License plate 9GKM789 from the corrupt institution U.S.C. Okay, they're engaging in what is pumping out demons that are engaged in that pattern of conduct. This is the pattern of conduct in Fontana, California. And this is criminal conduct vicariously underway for the city of Fontana, which is the gang stalkers. They are kidnappers and murderers, not police officers. Okay, that's why you see them stalking in a helicopter while a fake sun remains over me. This is the P.O.C. And this is the automatic removal and also a prosecution for terrorist leaders in the position of Paul Leon and Aquanetta Warren. They will be removed from office and federally prosecuted. This is terrorism of American citizens. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:49 a.m. Okay, Fontana Lewis Library, which is San Bernardino County, is maintaining surveillance with the people of the state, including those under the age of majority, engaging in psychopathic behavior. They are pacing inside of the venue. They behave like centipedes. One person after another, while they're crossing path. They're doing so in what is engineered light. This is the venue where you see I.I.S. Pacing in the library adjacent to my seat, and you see that light going up the wall along the ceiling. You see the light activity that you've seen flying in the air and moving across the desk and the wall. You see the entity that is stalking, flying over my head by commercial airline planes, doing so by the smaller government planes in the absence also, not that it is a reconciliation, but it's the evidence of the ongoing hallmarks of surveillance. The entity is engaging in what is surveillance by plane activity, and then they all come into the library engaging in what is conspicuous surveillance. The entity is engaging in this P.O.C. inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, doing so at what is station number FONAD 24, and all of the adjacent stations are used as a means of federal stalking under Title 18, and these are demons that are engaging in psychopathic behavior, which is also threatening and harassing and terrorizing. They're sharing in what is the vagina monitoring, the perpetual sex offense. Remember that this is the venue where Stephanie Ortiz is engaging in criminal summoning with the gang members who are the Fontana police, maintaining helicopter activity where everyone that's in here is engaging in blatant criminal activity, doing so while they're also keeping that evidence under surveillance. And I just want to be clear, that is the same formula regarding federal prison. This is the entity that's engaging in such at 10:18 a.m. and this is the entity that's doing so in the engineer light in the same exact location where the entity is targeting me with criminal summoning and targeting with impossible light activities. So maintaining any means of any sort of program or what, it's the same malicious pattern of conduct by psychopaths who are violent sex offenders engaging in what is public corruption. And this is San Bernardino County. All right, so this is the entity that's engaged in that unlawful threat and doing so while they are engaging in that on behalf of the government. Okay, this is the P.O.C. These are the cowards that hide behind uniforms and are gang stalking through minor children who are equally mentally ill. These are the demon-possessed. Mental illness is not restricted by their age. It's not restricted by their language. It's not restricted by their appearance. It's not restricted by the type of activity that they choose to engage in while they're engaging in what is monitoring. All right, and that's what Fontana Lewis Library is engaging in. It's currently 10:18 a.m. The entity is maintaining a whole environment which is mutually exclusive in Ontario, California, just as one example. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is specifically stations 24 through 15, and they are all required to identify themselves. They provide their information when they log into the computers. They're doing so while the entity is maintaining surveillance of everything that's happening on the desktop. And this is San Bernardino County's maintenance of that information while they're gang stalking with the people of the state, coming in and engaging in demented, mentally deranged behaviors to monitor. Okay, it is 10:21 a.m. This is P.O.C. The noise that you hear in the background is a demon, and they maintain that ongoing chorus of activity pursuant to my physical movement and operation of my device. You're going to prosecute the government for the mentally ill behavior of gang stalking. It is currently 10:21 a.m. By the way, P.O.C. The obsessive stalking by the City of Ontario is speaking to the obsessive stalking that's underway in Fontana. Regarding another tactic of federal stalking on the venue of the internet. This is San Bernardino County. All the hallmarks present regarding San Bernardino County, including the fake sun, including the impossible light inside of the venue, including the entity gang stalking by helicopter, the entity engaging in criminal summoning, the entity engaging in stalking by commercial plane, using the smaller government planes as well. All of the hallmarks are present, and the entity is monitoring on the venue of the internet. It's San Bernardino County Library. And this is the venue where the people of the state are engaged in surveillance on communication devices. There's no warrant or probable cause for the government to engage in this, so this is the entity that is engaging in that pattern of conduct. It is in furtherance of murder. It is with the intent to obstruct justice, targeting the evidence to put them in prison, and they are definitely going to prison where they're surveilling the evidence and seeking to obstruct publishing. Okay, so you can clearly see that this is published. And this is currently 4:09 p.m. So you can see this is the time right here. It's 4:09. This is published at 2:12 p.m. So I'm just going to show how this is the status based on what it is I've already done. And you will see how when I view the episodes, and this is relevant to a facilitating venue such as Spotify, okay? Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, these venues, Reddit, whatever website it is. It's a venue on the internet where surveillance is underway, and they will be subject to prosecution. This is a facilitating venue where the entity is engaging in surveillance online, and these online venues maintain a responsibility that's going to be assigned under the law based on the influence that they yield, based on the engagement in what is surveillance, based on profiting off of it, based on exploiting the notion of privacy that is an illusion, where the entity, including these venues, are engaging in surveillance, and the knowledge of that, and with regard to the obligation to protect American citizens. All right, so this is relevant to exposing surveillance and surveillance on the internet, which these online venues are fully aware of. They're sharing in the criminal activity. But nonetheless, that's an accidental tap. You see the episode is published, and yet it is not available for me to look at. This is a product of gang stalking online, hostility to the evidence, trying to, we're just going to hide it, and that way I won't be able to update it, that way I won't be able to see it. It's published, all right? And so this is always, again, the tactic of maneuvering around monitoring tactics by the entity. You're looking online, you're looking at the very vagina monitors that are stalking inside of the venue. This is the entity that's gang stalking to and from any location that I'm going from. This is ongoing surveillance on the venue of the internet as well, and all the people of the state are going to be prosecuted for what I'm documenting online. They're sharing in that. The entity's engaging in this while they are maintaining that ongoing system simultaneously. This is relevant to what is mental illness. Mental illness that is a threat to American citizens. and mental illness that is self-destructive. These are demons, and this is the entity that is exposing itself. They're showing you, educating you, while I am making an example out of them, what they do, how they do it, what they know while they do it, and what federal law is going to require. How are you going to treat terrorists like this? They're going to be treated like Osama bin Laden, something that's an extremely violent threat to children, to every area of society, to themselves, to the public, okay? They're engaging in this while the entity is maintaining this method of surveillance on the venue of the internet. So that's what I want to show. It is occurring on San Bernardino County Library's Wi-Fi network, where they are engaging in surveillance. This is, again, the very heavily documented San Bernardino County gang stalking at the TAD office. San Bernardino County gang stalking on the roads and the highways. San Bernardino County gang stalking with the behavioral health. That's San Bernardino County engaging in criminal defamation, engaging in kidnapping. This is San Bernardino County, the Fontana Lewis Library, sharing in that criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder in concert with the people of the state. It is comprehensive surveillance. It's absolutely a matter of public corruption, and this is the entity that's going to be prosecuted under all areas of relevant federal law, including Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. Alrighty, so I want to show that how I am accessing what is very much published, very much in existence, and how it is simultaneously missing off of the my platform, which is not an accident, it's not an error, this is surveillance. And so this is also removing for you the illusion that, oh, there's something wrong and the company doesn't know and I have to call and let them know. They know. It's a method of surveillance and harassment and in violation of your privacy. All right, this is the entities doing this while they're being documented, they're being prosecuted. Okay, so this is under no circumstances and a mistake whatsoever. Okay, this is indeed the P.O.C. and this is the entity that's engaging in what is demonic, right? Stalking in the path. This is the same venue where the entity maintains impossible light up the wall. All right, and this is the entity that's engaging in what is that manifestation of that same pattern of conduct, very demented, very mentally ill, and it's also an ongoing unlawful threat relevant to psychological torture. That's the entity that's engaging in the perpetual sex offense. That's the entity that's monitoring on the venue of the internet, psychopathic pacing, all of that, while you're stepping outside, and then the entity is engaged in stalking by helicopter. This is that gang violence, and this is, again, the signature of Michael Dorsey. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. It's currently 4:13 p.m. Believe we have lights on in the building. These are, in fact, demons. Alrighty, I just want to show how I am able to maneuver around what is an effort of seeking to hide my own evidence from me. And you're looking at what is the relevant positioning, the elements of monitoring the light activity, which is relevant to the mentally ill. The mentally ill are engaging in this stalking with light conduct. This is what they're doing under the fake sun. This is what they're doing amongst impossible light activity that everyone's oblivious to. This is what the entity is doing with the manifestations of light, like you're looking at. This is real-time monitoring on my device. Also, while you're looking at that, that's legally analyzed as impunity, and it's a threat to your life, not merely a mentally ill person that's stalking with light. It's a threat to, it's in furtherance of murder. All right, this is P.O.C. and it's all state action. All of it is state action. It is currently 4:15 p.m. and this is P.O.C. regarding federal stalking on the venue of the internet, and it is third-party facilitating venue Spotify.
Alrighty, this is sexual assault and battery by the gang members that are sharing and stalking in the path, and they're engaging in vagina monitoring together while I'm inside of the restroom and the entity is maintaining surveillance, entering into the restroom to maintain gang presence inside of that bathroom. Now pay attention to where they're aiming light. This is mentally ill behavior and sexually violent. It's predatory. This you're going to prosecute based on the mens rea. Impossible light moves across. That's AGS. I'm going to prosecute them. They're going to prison. The entities engaged in this 9NYK148 is stalking with the security cards. Impossible light is on that vehicle, and impossible light, which is terrorism, while license 9KFN131 AGS is stalking in the path with the patrons. Now they are specifically in this lane right here, this place, this position, in order to touch with light as I'm walking on the sidewalk, okay, as I'm walking down the street. And this one over here is in position with regard to where I am necessarily and presumably going to walk upon exiting the library. This is very much strategic with regard to wanting to touch with light, which is mentally ill behavior. Okay, this is the entity these are demons that are engaged in monitoring, and this is the prosecution for psychological torture. This is the prosecution for the perpetual sex offenders. They've been sitting in the library stalking with light and stalking with noise all day long inside of the venue, which is San Bernardino County. All right, this is P.O.C. To show you the environment where they are indeed stalking. This is my shadow here. This is my shadow here. The entity that's engaging in what is conspicuous surveillance on behalf of Michael Dorsey. This is the terrorist leader that's going to be federally prosecuted that is stalking me in Fontana using helicopters at this venue as well. This is the entity that's engaging in that, and they're doing so while they're monitoring, while the entity is engaged in criminal summoning, while they're engaged in what is monitoring, while they're stalking with light, they're sharing in that criminal conspiracy to commit murder. All right, this is P.O.C. This is station number 71. This is criminal summoning. This is San Bernardino County Fire. That's MUNSEY, the fire chief, the terrorist leader that's engaged in surveillance with the people. And they're all lined up, okay, to engage in surveillance on behalf of the government. This is an entity, an army of demons who are stalking one person together. And they are stalking in the most demented and deranged patterns, which is relevant to them being committed and being placed in prison. This is put. They've got multiple shadows while they're pacing on foot, pacing out of the building while the entity is sounding sirens. Metrolink is amplified audible activity while I'm walking outside, and the entity is engaged in what is stalking with light. The people of the state's engagement is stalking with light in the same way that they are while the fake sun is rising and setting. Okay? This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:46 p.m. The city of Fontana engaging in what is saying while aerial surveillance remains underway, and this is the entity that's engaging and exhibiting to the federal courts that's going to prosecute, that's going to sentence, that's going to award damages. This is impunity. All right, this is P.O.C. By the way, it's currently 8:47 p.m. All right, you see their crisscross shadows. Their shadows are dancing all over the place. That's not caused by the light. They're stalking. All right, and they're stalking while demons, these are psychopaths, are maintaining light activity, and it's obsessive, it's demonic, and it's criminal. All right, it's absolutely criminal. It's the criminal activity of San Bernardino County, the criminal activity of the city of Fontana. Just want to be clear, Ms. Bonquisha Warren, Top Ramanisha, Aquanetta Warren, she's being removed from office. This is exposing her as a terrorist leader. She's a violent sex offender. And what the Fontana Civic Center is engaging in, she is engaging in. The Fontana Civic Center is sharing the same property. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:47 p.m. This is an engineer light and the entity that is stalking in the sky space. At the City Bank, at the Fontana Chamber of Commerce, at the Fontana Lewis Library. And in the video, you see the San Bernardino County Fire Department driving away, but yet you're still hearing the sirens. They're driving right back up toward this direction. These are demons that are engaged in massive facilitation in San Bernardino County. This is terrorist leader Chief MUNSEY, who is being documented for criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder. Accountable, responsible for the criminal activity of the San Bernardino County Fire Department, which is sharing a supernatural pattern of conduct, a pattern of conduct that is impossible to share coincidentally. MUNSEY is over San Bernardino County. That is gang stalking me in furtherance of my murder, and is doing so while MUNSEY and San Bernardino County Fire keep me under surveillance, and the people of the state, the deranged psychopaths that I'm documenting, are engaging in what are stalking via and in concert with San Bernardino County Fire. Using fire trucks is psychopathic, it's mentally ill. To engage in stalking someone and to use that emergency vehicle as a means of engaging in what is surveillance, not emergency service provision. This is the entity that's engaging in what is public corruption, and it is a basis for civil and criminal prosecution. I just want to document that because I'm walking at the same Fontana Lewis Library, the Fontana Chamber of Commerce, and the San Bernardino County Fire Department's not going anywhere. They're pacing up and down the block. They're doing so while they are driving away from ostensibly toward an emergency, but yet they're driving right back up to Sierra Avenue seconds later, sounding sirens that have not lessened in volume. They're engaging in what is pacing. First of all, mentally ill behavior, stalking with light and audible activity, mentally deranged behavior, understanding what demons are doing, they're monitoring. That's the significance of that. They're doing it in the environment where in Fontana the fake sun is documented, rising over me, remaining for the duration of the day, where that hallmark of stalking by helicopter is underway. And the entity is engaging in that mentally ill criminal surveillance system. And they are facilitating a mass amount of people at one time to stalk me. And that's a basis to prosecute. This is station number 71, okay? The entity has not published online the name of the captains, but their chief is MUNSEY, and MUNSEY is being federally prosecuted. This is station number 71 at Arrow and Sierra, and this is the pattern of conduct that's criminal summoning at 8:51 p.m. 5 Mary Uncle Xavier 909 is gang stalking at the City Bank.
This is P.O.C. at Sierra Avenue and Arrow Boulevard. Okay, this is where the entity is maintaining the fake sun at this intersection, which I am documenting over a term of years, not just in 2026 from morning until evening. But there's a history of the entity engaging in surveillance and the absurd environment that keeps the fake sun over me. This is P.O.C.
0428 to Xavier 3, sexual assault and battery on Sierra Avenue at what is 8:56 p.m. in Fontana, California. All right, sexual assault and battery by Omnitrans with the people of the state. This is bus number 1269. Sexual assault and battery, license plate 1399983, bus number 1269. And it is currently, by the way, 8:57 p.m. where Route 61 that the entity knows that I'm going to board is departing as I turn that corner right here, while the entity is targeting by the street lamps on the street, while the entity is stalking and monitoring and molesting with impossible light activity, as the entity is stalking in the sky space with planes. And there's also no airport in Fontana. So this is the cooperative effort amongst the state of California maintaining aerial surveillance in the city. Doing so while they are monitoring the evidence as well. 8:57 p.m. That's sexual assault and battery by Omnitrans. Alrighty, I just want to be clear. I'm documenting the entity that is targeting by not permitting me to get on the bus, targeting by both gang stalking me and not permitting me to get on the bus, meaning driving by me when I'm at the bus stop, engaging what is harassing me, not permitting me to get on the bus. If you listen to the exchange I had with the Route 61 bus driver the other morning telling me I can't get back on the bus as a paying customer. And this is also targeting the entities pulling off, leaving 2 minutes late, just so that they can engage in sexual assault and battery, targeting me as I turn around the corner. This is the entity that's engaging in what is also, as I documented the other day, leaving early and not permitting me to get on the bus when you're leaving ahead of the schedule, even 1 minute ahead of schedule. That's why they have it so precisely, such as 1:52 p.m., 1:37 p.m. Those are the times that are expected, and the entity is operating outside of these times while they're targeting me. That's sexual assault and battery at 8:57 p.m. They waited a whole 2 minutes so that they can engage in what is sexual assault and battery with the entity that is stalking in the sky space, stalking with light, doing so while they are keeping the evidence under surveillance. That's relevant to the sex offenders that are going to be prosecuted. The sex offenders include the company Omnitrans. Conspiring murder as one entity. It's currently 8:59 p.m. at Fontana Metrolink train station. This is P.O.C. They're all over here monitoring. These are demons. Okay? And just to be clear, just look at the light activity. That's impossible light activity. Absolutely impossible. Not explained by the light. These are demons and they're all monitoring and they're all sex offenders together. P.O.C. License plate 1613638, bus 1282. What they're doing is stalking in the path with light, just like I showed you at the Fontana Lewis Library. It's called positioning. It's the mens rea, the mindset, the predatory behavior of sex offenders, whose objective is to molest you with light, surround you with light, stalk you with light, haunt you with light while they are monitoring. They are doing so while maintaining a transit line throughout San Bernardino County. And I want to get to the details. It's Route 19. You'll see in the images. Right now it is 9:18 p.m. So this is going to require reference to the images that I just took. As I'm walking from the images you'll see of the people of the state documented at Nuevo and Ceres, I'm documenting license plates as I walk to this corner where the entity is engaged in positioning, making sure that they are molesting my body with light, stalking in the path. You're stalking and you're tracking my steps in order to do so, which is what the population is always doing. They're also doing that while I show you the fake sun that turns as I turn, goes where I go, and remains where I remain. The entity is tracking my steps. So as I'm walking to the corner, Route 19 is what is displayed. Route 19 is what is displayed in, and at the bus stop already is an African-American female that's driving bus that displays Route 19. She's been here engaging in stalking with light, just like Route 14 right here, had been here the entire time since Route 61 drove off 2 minutes after schedule in order to molest me with light. The entity is maintaining Route 19 here at the transit center, while this bus that's displaying Route 19 on its face is stopping across the street in order to engage in what is sexual assault and battery. But I just want to give context regarding the gang violence that Omnitrans is engaging in. Parking away from the stalls, doing so while they are utilizing the buses as criminal
means of surveillance, using swapping out the signs. They engage in swapping out the route numbers. They engage in entirely taking it, making it out of service while they're engaged in what is criminal activity as they are aware that they're being documented. And this is relevant. The moment that I'm capturing Route 19, which I'm familiar that this was Route 19, that the African-American woman was engaging surveillance with. And as I walk, literally as I start walking, she starts driving off. So you will see in the images as I walk across and I get this license plate of this bus, Route 19, and then you'll see this is a male. He looks like a midget, perhaps Latino or Caucasian, light skin, light colored skin. And he is operating with a beanie on his head. And he is operating the bus that was sitting across the street in order to touch me. That's the purpose of it. But I'm just breaking down the corrupt business practices of Omnitrans while they're engaging in what is stalking with light. So they are parking across the street bearing Route 19. Route 19 is parked here. Route 19 starts driving off. So as I come to document the bus that's sitting idle at the bus stall. And then this bus that was previously displaying Route 19, as I documented across the street, is immediately following, revealing which is exactly what you see when I start recording. Now it says out of service, and he drives right off of the property, reflecting what is the route number, reflecting what is the objective of what that bus is doing. This is the entity that's using that as a guise for stalking. Okay, claiming that this is Route 14, so that means that you're going X, Y, and here, and this is X, Y, and Z, and this is what you're actually doing, when in reality, they are engaged in what is criminal surveillance, and they're stalking. That is akin to, analogous to putting on different uniforms, putting on different masks, if you will. I'm going here, I'm going there, oh, I'm not going anywhere, I'm in out of service, which they also think is a means that they can just drive the bus anywhere at any time, because they switch it automatically to out of service, or display something that is meaningless, like Go Dodgers, right? Or Merry Christmas or something like that. This is the P.O.C. I'm documenting, I'm going to prosecute Omnitrans, and I'm exposing their corrupt practices while they're monitoring the evidence as well. These are very violent stalkers and co-conspirators of murder, and Omnitrans is determined to continuously stalk and harass and terrorize and target me. And that's also relevant to the vagina monitors that are operating that transit line. This is P.O.C. They're engaging in demented behavior, stalking with buses, and they're doing so for a term of years. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:21 p.m. How can Alrighty, this is the City of Ontario, stalking with, again, as I get off of Route 61, stalking at the Metro 1 and 2 apartments. This is exactly what I documented the previous employee of Omnitrans engaging in gang stalking with the people of the state on the roads and the highways. And then also, it just says, and it's the analogous conduct as you walk into the venue of the library, the entity stalking by helicopter as you walk into amongst the people of the state who are gang stalking as well. The employees of this bus line that's engaging in surveillance is going to be federally prosecuted, and they're going to prison just the same. All right, this is P.O.C. The entity engaging in what is gang stalking at Fontana Metrolink train station, and the entity is stalking by the Ontario Police Department, amplifying helicopter activity. This is supposed to be scary. This is supposed to be the entity that's inflicting ongoing trauma so that they can engage in what is criminal defamation and successfully accomplish murder. This is that criminal conspiracy. They're going to prison for it, but it's unsuccessful. Mike LORENZ is going to federal prison, just like I documented Michael Dorsey all day long in Fontana. This is the same pattern of conduct. They were sitting inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, engaging in the same psychopathic behaviors as the people of the state at the Ovid Family Community Library. Vagina monitor, stalking with light in the specific environment where the fake sun is engaging in what is a grand departure from the City of Ontario, and now it's remaining over the City of Fontana, showing what is a statewide POC. And you know what that means? Michael Dorsey and Mike LORENZ have something in common, and it's a federal prosecution as domestic terrorist leaders. And that means leaving office by Aquanetta and Paul, domestic terrorists. I'm going to prosecute, and I'm going to prosecute profusely. This is what they're accomplishing by stalking in helicopters all over the internet for the world to witness. This is POC. It is currently 10:34 p.m. as I'm documenting a pattern of being subject to stalking by helicopter as I get off of Omnitrans. That is a very heavily documented terrorist. POC, the entity that is stalking with light, using buses to engage in surveillance and the mentally ill pattern of stalking with light, and they're engaging in that with the entity that is gang stalking. POC. It is currently, by the way, 10:35 p.m. Here's my shadow in front of me here. This is a demon that's stalking in a helicopter. Metro 102 Apartments is gang stalking with the City of Ontario in furtherance of murder. The John Stewart Company on Ontario Senior Citizen Apartment Complex, where the entity is engaging in what is stalking me while I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library. They're engaging in surveillance. They're in relevant positions, stalking with the City of Ontario that's stalking in a helicopter. The Ontario Town Square, the people that stayed on the roads and the highways, Omnitrans, obviously. Also, the Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments. And this is the entity that's going to be federally prosecuted as I am dissecting that ongoing population that's engaging in relevant positioning while the government is engaging in aerial surveillance, stalking in commercial planes and in helicopters. That entire entity is acting together and they will be prosecuted together. And this is every area of federal law with regard to prosecuting domestic terrorists. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaging in what is stalking by commercial planes in the same location where the entity is stalking by helicopter right now. That's the prosecution of Alan D. WAPNER and the Ontario Executive Board. This is the entity that's, again, defeating itself. So you are learning how the beast system operates. You're learning how the demon-possessed are engaging in monitoring you. You're learning about the severity of mental illness by a population. This is the entity that's engaging in that. Okay, this is a case that's already concluded. These are delusional psychopaths that have put Tracy Banks in prison for the rest of her life, and everybody that had sex with her is sharing in the criminal conspiracy to murder me. This is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 10:36 p.m. This is psychopathic pacing. They're flying in circles. So this is, again, clear indication of targeting. P.O.C.
Alrighty, here's the entity that's engaged in ongoing stalking. This is Michael Lorenz, all right? He's going to be certified. He will be subject to what is not just prison. He's going to federal prison as a terrorist, but he's going to be certified. This is mental illness that is diagnosed as the pattern of conduct is shared by that agency and shared by the people of the state. This is a demon that is stalking in a helicopter and is stalking a specific person, a person that they know is documenting right now, and that's why they're flying over the top of my head. And as you'll see in the images, I'm taking pictures while I'm standing under here using the Wi-Fi, where the people say you already know that they're stalking with impossible light. You already know that the entity is amplifying ongoing audible activity, and the entity is engaging what is psychopathic pacing, stalking in the middle of the night. This is the entity. They're going to mental wards as well. They're going to federal prison also. They're all engaging in what is gang stalking, group stalking, state organized stalking. They're all engaging in this together. And this is a ritual that makes them feel better about the fact that they're going to prison, because that's where they're going. This is evidence that's going to be played in the courtroom because the federal case is already complete, and the federal government is watching me extinguish Satan. Okay, so Michael Lorenz is going to federal prison, and he's going with regard to what is a record to be certified regarding severe mental instability, engaging in what is deranged conduct with a population that's supposed to be anonymously stalking you, stalking right in my path, keeping her back to me. That's a homosexual of a predator that's obsessed with my vagina, and that's stalking with the police department that's using helicopters. She's doing so in this environment, and this is how you know the truth. You don't have to talk to the sex offenders. In the same way that you also know, because the entity is indeed stalking by helicopter, you don't have to talk to the sex offenders, and there's a population of them that are going to prison. And they're going to the section of the prison where they will be subject to routine medication and routine conferences with medical professionals who are not gang stalkers like those in California, who will be getting to the root of the problem regarding their psychiatric, their psychological issues regarding their ongoing impulse, their desire, their obsession with targeting people who could care less, in my instance, and targeting people that are innocent. Why do you feel this ongoing desire to? It's because they're demon possessed. But medical professionals are going to give a diagnosis and put it in practical terms regarding what sort of treatment is needed for the demon possessed that are engaging in predatory conduct against American citizens that are unsuspecting. It is currently 11:05 p.m. That's Mike Lorenz's federal prosecution. And under Mike Lorenz is everyone else. You're talking about documenting years of criminal summoning. Every single last one's going to prison. You're talking about the gang stalkers that are stalking. They're doing so under the fake sun. They're doing so while they're using those police lights and sounding those sirens and stalking in the dark. They're going to prison. All right, and that's what you're getting while the entity is targeting me by helicopter, and the entity is doing this from city to city. Okay, terrorist leaders like Michael Dorsey, terrorist leaders like Marcelo Blanco, Darren Goodman, Mike Lorenz, Derek Williams, they're going to prison. They're going to prison for a population of sex offenders that are engaged in that pattern of conduct. And this is Mike Lorenz keeping me under surveillance through the vagina monitors, the people of the state, stalking in the dark at the Ontario Town Square, doing so as an entity. And this is published on X. This is relevant to what Mike Lorenz is engaging in, as I'm publishing evidence of him conspiring my murder by gang stalking me in a helicopter on yet another night after coming from the city of Fontana, where the city of Ontario is surveilling me, prosecuting them. The entity is greeting me with helicopter activity, threatening my life and safety, psychologically traumatizing me in doing so, and also is doing so while they're sitting back watching me publish the evidence. And that's relevant to how many years terrorists like Mike Lorenz are going to sit in prison. And Mike Lorenz, I just want to be clear, he is absurdly psychotic. So he is under no circumstances concerned about or even thinking about prison, which is a very real and very close consequence. He's going to prison. He's going to federal prison. And he's going as a terrorist. Not only that, he is severely mentally ill because of the fact that he is delusional in that regard. And that agency is still stalking in that manner. Okay, the fact that they're spending money, they're spending time, they're doing it while the target individual is recording it. This is all relevant to diagnosing that severe mental instability. And this is my documentation pointing these things out to medical professionals who are trained in that field. However, I want to make sure that you are identifying what is malicious and making sure that you are identifying what they are not ignorantly engaging in, as the entity is engaging in what is a pattern of conduct. They're not ignorantly engaging. It's all malice. And that is giving you what is context diagnosing true true closeted mental illness that a population needs to be exposed for. Okay. And there are no HIPAA protections regarding what is mental illness that threatens the public, that the entity is engaging in what is letting loose on people in order to project your sickness onto other people. Oh no, it's going to be made public information. The fact that you are so mentally ill that you engage in as a population targeting. All right. This is P.O.C. This is the Ontario Town Square. So this is, again, Paul Leon, who's being federally prosecuted in the city of Ontario amongst the people of the state, doing so in the middle of the night. Doing so while they are engaging what is unleashing fury to their own demise regarding what is criminal activity that they are going to be federally prosecuted for. They are a population, and they are not too many to be prosecuted under every relevant area of federal law, including as domestic terrorists. This is P.O.C. It is 11:08 p.m.